welcome to another edition of PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. And in today's video, we start Season 2 of Kaguya-Sama Love is War, Queen of Thieves. What if Shirogane was Spider-Man? Season 2, Part 1. As always, if you are new to the channel or if you're a regular and like what we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that is to come out now and in the future. Where we last left off with this series, we had the cap off of Season 1, with Kaguya now being pushed with her back against the wall more than ever. She has to double down in her efforts to gain the funds needed in order to gain her freedom from her criminal family. However, in the midst of trying to do so, she ends up getting the attention of Spider-Man in a different way. Instead of just going for her own personal gain, she instead sacrifices in order to save a life. And in the process, Shirogane spares the Black Cat. But was this the right move? Have villain and hero now become acquaintances of sorts? And what happens when others start to get the wrong idea? For all this and more, stay tuned as we now continue the story. As always, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Miyuki Shirogane, aka the Spider-Man, the student council president of Shushin Academy. He sat at his desk as he had turned and looked out of the window, his bags under his eyes, his 1,000-yard glare. He was still replaying those events in his mind, as the sounds of summer echoed all throughout the outside of the window. Why had he let her go that night? Why did he let the Black Cat escape? Had he made the right or the wrong decision? There hadn't been any news of the Black Cat recently, not in the last few weeks. And well, that was for good reason. You see, just because you're a criminal and a thief, it doesn't mean you strike every single week, every single night. That's how you get sloppy, and that's how you get caught. It's about knowing when to take a break, about knowing when you have a mark that's worth going for and not worth going for. After coming so close to being captured, Kaguya wasn't all too thrilled about donning the Black Cat attire and making another crack. Besides, she had done all of this to steal some diamond necklace from a politician. Granted, it had some value. It wasn't like it wasn't worth taking, but in the end of the day, for all the trouble that it caused her, in the grand scheme of things, she would have been better off just not attempting it. She only did so out of anger and frustration for her family. And in a weird way, she kind of did want to get caught. Living the life of a criminal is not for the faint of heart, nor is it easy. Every day you wake up looking over your shoulder. You never know what can happen. No matter how secure you think you are, even the best of them have gone down in the past. And you never know when that day might be the day you go down. And for Kaguya, in that particular day, had she succeeded or failed, it really wouldn't have mattered to her in that moment. But in the end, she felt revigored. She felt like she had a reason, a purpose. She knew that she wanted her freedom from her family. But in order to do so, she'd have to raise up the funds needed. But she had to be careful. They were keeping track of how much she spent of the family's money just to earn more money. She now understood why it was so hard to leave. You get so used to using the money of the Shinomiya name. You get so used to the lifestyle. All those resources are at your fingertips. But it's not just to be used for any mere means. No. The family had been keeping track of her. Every time she requested gear for a mission, every time she had someone hired, or any time she worked something in her favor, that was like they were keeping a tab that she would have to pay off eventually. Kaguya knew that going forward, she would need to be even more independent than ever before. But how good could she be without the family help? Of course, for all of her training, for all the skills that she had acquired, she couldn't even deny that she wouldn't have gotten as far as she did if she didn't have the resources provided for her. Of course, drumming up one's own funds are a lot easier said than done, but if anyone could do it, then she'd definitely be capable. Although, as Kaguya was pouring the tea that morning, she couldn't help but wonder what the president was thinking. What was going through his mind? As for Shirogane, he was still deeply lost in thought. So much so that he wasn't even paying attention when his tea had been given to him. Of course, the other members of the club, from Ishigami to Chika to Ava, well, they all noticed that the president and vice president seemed to be lost in their own world, although they all just assumed that that was because of the duties that came with those presidential responsibilities. Of course, for Chika, she kind of knew what was going on. After all, Chika came from a family that was less than clean, especially in the world of politics. So it wasn't uncommon for those of the Fujiwara family and those of the Shinomiya family to make some deals here and there. And it wasn't uncommon for the daughters to be privy to these deals. So Chika was familiar with what Kaguya was going through. And at the same time, Ishigami was fully aware that Shirogane was still reeling from his last encounter with the Black Cat. The only one who was completely anomalous in all of this was Ava Ayala, the club room historian, as she had been getting the requisite documents and the other historical artifacts all archived in the school's vault, along with many other duties that came with being historian, not only for her, but for future classes that were to come. She still had her own issues. As the White Tiger, she thought that coming to Japan would be a chance for her to spread her wings. At her father's request, after all. The reason why she picked Shushin Academy was because it was an anonymous school. A place where the children of heroes and villains could all go for the same education without fear of retaliation. She thought that she could learn, and even more so that she could get close to the Spider-Man. But after seeing what he had done, letting the Black Cat go, she now had a lot of questions. Questions that really needed answers. Was Spider-Man truly here to protect us, or was he really a menace? She still had the video, but for now she'd keep it to herself. Of course, for life in the school, things didn't slow down at all, but instead they intensified. As for Kaguya, among other things, she enjoyed taking her break from crime, and her assistant, Ayasuka, also appreciated it as well. Of course, she was loyal to Kaguya, as all members of the Sable family were loyal to those of the Shinomiya family. But still, Not everyone wanted to spend every night risking their lives for some valuables. Every now and again, you just wanted to take a break, just to take a load off and relax. Of course, for Kaguya, she still wanted to get close to the president, but she kept thinking about him. Why had she kissed him on the cheek? Why? No, she couldn't be in love with Spider-Man. She was in love with the president. I mean, it would be one thing if the president and Spider-Man were the same person. Nah, what are the chances of that even being possible? Girl, you have no idea. In either way, she thought that one way of getting close to the president was going to be by getting close to his sister, who attended the junior academy that was attached to Shushin for middle schoolers. And that being his sister, Kei Shirogane. Kei was a lot different from her brother, a lot more stoic, a lot more forward-thinking. And because of that, she wasn't the type of person to, skip in terms of going through life with an unusual level of ease. Or I guess a better way of putting it, Kei was the opposite of her brother, but also the same in many ways. It's really hard to describe. When it came to her brother, she didn't like that he always doted on her and watched over her, acting like a parent. No, she found that to be very annoying, and sometimes she wondered if her brother was a siscon or something like that. Although, that wasn't the case at all. For Shirogane, and for the rest of his family, things were rather rough when their mother just suddenly left their father and moved on with another man and started a new family. In the beginning, she took Kei with her, leaving Shirogane with his father. Of course, Kei didn't like things with her mother, and soon she returned back to be with her father and brother. And ever since then, Shirogane, not only having gained the powers of Spider-Man, but this new sense of responsibility, he owed it to his sister to be the very best that he could be. So he was always watching over her, making sure she was alright, even when she didn't want him to be. Among many of his responsibilities, being a good older brother was something that was the most important to him. It was one of the many things that motivated him to be Spider-Man, to create a world where his family could be safe, and for that, he would do anything that was required of him. Of course, though, when Kaguya actually met Kei Shirogane, it was safe to say that her world had suffered a severe shell shock. For one thing, the sister was, very good looking. Not that she would actually want to be with her. No, she still wanted to date the president. But in a weird pseudo way, it was almost like being with Kei was like being with the president. But for Kaguya, her imagination would start to wander. If she could get close with the sister, she could get close to the whole family. For her, that was a feeling that made her bubble up inside with happiness. The idea of getting closer to the president's family. Of course, that would be easier said than done, though, because Chika Fujiwara, along with her sister, were already deeply friends with Kei Shirogane, to the point where they actually hung out all the time, which Kaguya would learn, and Kaguya would be deeply disturbed. Of course, Chika was her own force of nature, so to speak, but then there was Chika's sister, younger and, almost big, or if not slightly bigger in certain areas. They were impure, Kaguya would think. Besides, there is much more to a woman than the size of her bosom. Some men prefer the more mature side of a woman. Of course, Kaguya, deep down inside, if she could be a bit bigger, then, she would definitely want to be. But, there are some battles you just can't win. But still, though, hanging out with Kei did give Kaguya insight of one thing. The president's birthday was coming up. Of course, this was a huge opportunity for Kaguya. The chance to actually get the president something for his birthday. She wanted to take that chance, but she didn't want to overdo it either. In the end, she settled with a slice of homemade cake that she had made especially for him, and a gift, that being a fan. For Shirogane, he was surprised by this, but he deeply treasured the gift. Of course, with the summer approaching, and with the new term starting soon, it also meant that this was going to be the final term for the student council that year. Once this was over, the elections would have to be held all over again, and for Shirogane, he wasn't sure if he was even going to run. Ishigami would talk to him about this, surprised by that fact. "You mean you're not gonna run for president?" "To be honest, I really don't know, Ishigami. I mean, between trying to be student council president, trying to be Spider-Man, along with many other responsibilities that I have, I don't know if I can handle it all anymore. You know, even though you are a workaholic, I can't think of anyone else being president but you." "Yeah, maybe. But honestly, even though I'm thinking it over, I'm probably not going to run. In the end, I think it's time for someone else to take over. I think I've had my fill." The club room would be cleared out. All of their things, all of their personal items, it was all going to be taken home. However, before they were going to clear out, they decided to use the club room one last time for stargazing. It's something that Shirogane loved to do, and everyone else, he wanted them to join him. Of course, Kaguya thought that this was going to be a chance for them to be alone. She even thought this was going to be a chance for them to get an indirect kiss if they shared a coffee mug. However, what she ended up learning was that when it came to stargazing, looking at the constellations, that was the one thing that Shirogane could honestly love more than anything else. Even more than his own fears of being around the woman that he loved. He was able to wrap his arms around her, put his jacket around her when she was cold. The two of them laying down together privately on a blanket, looking up at the stars above. Kaguya couldn't take it. When had he gotten so confident? When had he gotten so bold? Why were his muscles so toned and refined? Just being wrapped in his arms, she could feel the strength, and maybe even more. It was almost as if the boy was holding back, as if he had wrapped her tightly enough, he could crush her with ease, but yet in his arms, she could feel that he treated her as delicately as a flower. In a weird way, she was overwhelmed with mixed and strong emotions. On one hand, she almost couldn't take it, but at the same time, she almost didn't want it to stop. No, she did want it to stop, or no, she didn't. As they looked up high at the full moon that loomed above them, Shirogane and Kaguya would think to themselves. Shirogane would mention Kaguya's name in its reference to the story of Princess Kaguya, the princess who was trapped on the moon away from her true love. Of course, for Kaguya, that was the one story that she never truly liked. Of course, it was from which her name was inspired, so in the end, it's not like she could ever really deny it, but at the same time, a story like that, of a girl trapped on the moon and a man with nothing more but an elixir to grant him eternal life, but still no way of reaching her, what was even the point? For Kaguya, she never liked to reflect on such things because it was almost as if it were a reflection of her own life. The cage her family kept her in, the lifestyle that she lived. She wasn't just on the moon. She was on a whole different planet, in a whole different stratosphere. She'd never be close to the earth and to what she wanted most. You know, President, I wonder what you would have done in a situation like that. Well, I certainly wouldn't have been like the prince. He just burnt away the elixir out of emotion. He said he'd rather die than live forever and never see her again. But personally, I don't believe that. If I were the prince, I would have drunk the elixir. I don't care how long it would have took. Even if I had to build a staircase all the way to the heavens themselves, I would have done anything it took to get to her and to bring Kaguya back. For Kaguya in that moment, she was overwhelmed to hear that. Was the president just referring to the story, or was it something deeper? She truly didn't know in that moment. At the same time, though, eventually, the council and their term, it all came to an end. Of course, for the newest member, Ava Ayala, even she was saddened, even though she had only just joined like 6 months prior. But still, though, she had seen the bond forged among these people. She would be coming back to the club. After all, she had just been assigned historian, and it was a position that no one took at all. So chances are she could get her spot back with no issue. But still, who was going to be leading this thing? The group decided to go out to eat that night, going to a nice restaurant and taking a load off. For Shirogane, he took off the golden crest that he wore on his school uniform and turned it back in. He looked a lot different without it. He looked more loose, more relaxed, more free. Dinner was nice for all of them. They all said their goodbyes and went their separate ways. Later on in the night, as Shirogane went swinging through the city of Japan and Tokyo, Spider-Man moving from rooftop to rooftop, he reflected on everything he had been through. He reflected on his life's journey and everything that brought him to this moment. Now he was finally free of some responsibility. You know, maybe not being the president isn't so bad, Shirogane thought. It could give me more time to be Spider-Man. It'd definitely be a lot more inconspicuous. Yeah, maybe this is the right decision. Hey there. Shirogane would turn as he saw someone and called to him, the White Tiger? Tiger? Spider? What's up? Oh, nothing. I've just been wondering, where you been lately? What do you mean? You haven't really been out as much, not patrolling as often as you used to. I mean, it's not like there's been a whole lot of crime, so understandable. So, what's your relationship to the Black Cat? My what? Don't play dumb. I saw what happened at the festival. Where are you? She would hold up her phone, showing the video. She gives you a peck on the cheek and you just let her go? Look, it's not like what? I mean, from what I see, you let a criminal go. A criminal that you haven't been able to catch in over a year. Now I'm starting to wonder, have you even really been trying to catch her in the first place? Or is this some ruse you and your girlfriend are playing? She's not my girlfriend. Then what is it? Look, it's complicated. Well, you have 10 seconds to make it uncomplicated, or I'm showing this video to everyone. Wait, what? Look, I don't know if I can even trust you right now. And if I can't trust you, I have to do what's in the best interest of the city. And that means bring you down. Come on, you don't have to. 10, 9, 8. Are you serious? 7, 6, 5. Come on. 4, 3, 2. She saved the kid, okay? What? At the festival, there was a statue that was going to fall. I caught it, but I couldn't hold it on forever and save the kid. She had a chance, okay? She had a chance to get away with what she had stolen, but she let it go, she sacrificed it, and she saved the kid. And well, Wait, you let her go because she saved a kid? Yeah, I did. That makes no sense. Okay, even if she did save a kid, which, congratulations, good for you, it doesn't change all the harm she's caused. And the only reason why we were all out there fighting was because of her. Did you forget that? No, I didn't. So why? Why let her go? I don't know, okay? I don't know. Look, it was in the heat of the moment. We talked and I made a mistake. All right? And I have to pay for that. I do. And I promised I am not going to let her get away again. But in the end, she didn't get away with what she had stolen, and no lives were lost. In the end, you can just tack it on to more that's to come, but look, I don't have an excuse for doing what I did. If you want to upload that video, you want to try to take me in, that's fine. It doesn't change the fact that I still love this city, these people, and I plan to protect them. I don't care if you want to try to stop me or not. The White Tiger had to think this over. What was she going to do? Was this a one-time thing? Could she let it slide? She took a deep breath as she lifted her mask up to her nose. She walked towards Spider-Man, pushing him against the wall. Tiger, what are you? She lifted his mask halfway. No. Don't worry. I'm not going all the way. With that, Shirogane felt something entirely different. He was kissed. It was hot, dry, but still full of deep passion and burning desire. As they broke away, she would take her phone and delete the video forever. Why did you? That kiss is a sign of my trust in you. If you say this is a one-time thing and that it will never happen again, then all is forgiven. Just this one time. And besides, why are you even chasing after that cat anyway? You got a tiger. And let's face it, with me around, you just hit the jackpot. See ya, Spider-Man. Like that, the White Tiger would disappear. Shirogane, he would collapse onto the roof. As he laid there, there were so many things running through his head. In the meantime, in the Shinomiya mansion, Kaguya sits up in bed as Ayasuka would attend to her. Is everything all right, Lady Kaguya? I don't know why, but I feel a disturbance, as if someone out there somewhere has just crossed me. And if I ever learn about this, I feel like I'm going to kill the person that crossed me. Lady Kaguya, you never kill. No, but I think I might this time. Well, in either case, are you ready for tonight's meeting? Yes. Is the client going to arrange for the location? He is. Although I must warn Lady Kaguya, are you sure you want to get involved with this man? It can't be helped. I need to strike out on my own, and he's the only one who can give me what I'm looking for. But still, Hammerhead of all people? Don't worry. I have a plan. We're going to work with Mr. Hammerhead. He's going to provide us with all of the targets and the supplies that we could need. And when it's done, we're going to rob him blind and leave him for Spider-Man to catch. Spider-Man gets a big-time takedown, and we get a big-time payday. I hope you know what you're doing, Lady Kaguya. Don't doubt me. Of course I do. Now come, let's get to work. We have a long night ahead of us. And now that school's out, it's time for the black cat to go out to play. This concludes Kaguya-Sama, Love is War, Queen of Thieves. What If Shirogane Was Spider-Man, Season 2, Part 1. As always, if you enjoyed today's video and everything else that we have to offer, then please don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share, and hit that bell for post notifications so you can stay up to date on everything that is PowerCore Productions and Podcastings that's to come out now and in the future. Stay tuned for tomorrow's video as we continue Kill la Kill, The Web of Life. What if Spider-Gwen was in Kill la Kill Part 5? Also, if you haven't, make sure you check out all of our videos from last week's scheduling so that you can be caught up on everything that's to come out now and in the future as well. But anyway, that's going to do it for the end of today's video. I'm Javon Harrington with PowerCore Productions and Podcastings. Signing off, and I'll see you next time.